Summer of 2011. This young lady's name is Deborah Burgess. How are you, Deborah?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, I don't have a mic on here, so you have to speak up a little bit. Cool.
Okay.
There you go. Gave you a big head there for a minute. Basically, let's kind of backtrack a little bit here. Do you remember how we met? 30 seconds is a long time with dead air.
I don't.
You don't? I don't either. I think I met you at a...
I know how we met. Okay.
Cool.
You had a meeting. You had people, like-minded people getting together to talk, remember?
Downtown.
Downtown.
At Java's.
At Java's.
That's right, yeah.
I saw it in the paper. No, it must not have been the paper. Anyway, I walked in there just to hear the conversation and listened to a bit of the discussion. There was a group of people there, and then we started talking. That must have been way back, like in
Long time
94,
ago.
95.
Long time ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we sort of stayed in touch. And then at one point you were doing things too.
I was.
Yeah, you did psychic fairs and things.
Did psychic fairs, and we went on a ghost hunt.
We did, yeah.
And yeah, you did several of the fairs that I used to put on around Olympia, and actually beyond Olympia, because you did one in Shoreline or somewhere when I did one.
Ocean Shores.
Ocean Shores, okay.
Ocean Shores, yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this now. When, for quite a while you were able to, because you're a very logical person, there was a time when you were able to blend those two. Do you remember how you did that? You was, on your day job you was very regimented and logical, and then you became this whole other wonderful thing.
Bureaucrat during the day.
Yeah.
And, some compartmentalizing, just using, my intuition and abilities in dealing with people, during the day, during my day job, and learning from those experiences, and then just acting on those teachings, in my other part of my life.
Well, I remember you came, this was in the other house, you came to the house and you told me, you said, do you remember what you said?
About?
You said I was a frog. You said, oh my God, you look like a frog. And then they dissected me shortly after I had surgery, remember?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Hope I said it nicer than
Well,
that.
at the time we didn't know. No, you had came, if you don't mind, and if you can't follow with that, you had came and shared a vision with us about the water. Remember the one about the water in Mud Bay?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
This wall of
Yeah.
water rushing towards me
Yeah.
as I was on the freeway.
Yeah.
And it was before that, just before that ice storm
Mm-hmm.
that we had, that one of the worst ice storms.
Yeah, that's
had
what
around here.
decapitated all the trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had seen you, yeah, as one of the frogs, as a frog who had come out of that. But in so many of the visions I have, I when I come out the other end, I have very little memory.
Yeah, that happens to all of
Recall.
us. But I remember, I said, that Deborah saw me as a frog and now they cut me all up. And of course, when we have tsunami warnings, I always think about that. And so you just fell out of the sky today?
Mm-hmm. I actually, I dreamt about you on, let's see, today's Thursday, so I dreamt about you Tuesday. You you were walking towards me, and actually the same color scheme that you're wearing now, the gold and the dark. And you were walking towards me just like you look now with your glasses on, and you said, the way you always say my name, Deborah, and you know, you come see me. And I called you yesterday, but I didn't get you. And so I knew I had to come see you today.
Well, I thought about you early this morning because I was mailing out my newsletters. And so it was just kind of weird.
It was.
You know how, actually in the newsletter, I was talking about how sometimes we have two realities. It kind of comes in that category, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You do one thing here and then sometimes you don't know what's real and what isn't. And I'm not mentally ill in that I am, but not in that area. You know what I mean? I have other issues, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So how your life been?
A journey.
A journey.
A journey with twists and turns. Yeah, it is.
So what do you think is next for you?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Something I can honestly say something I've never done before. I can feel that much, and it feels like a whole new world, like a whole different world. Like the door, I can see the door opening, you know, and something in me is saying, you know, rush in, you know. So that's, yeah.
And you're not a local Olympian.
No, I grew up in...
You was an import, right?
Exactly. I've lived all over the world. I was born in Virginia and lived back east for a number of years, and then lived in Germany. And I moved out here, you know, back in the 90s, and have been here ever since.
I don't remember what brought you. It was your job, no?
My husband's job.
Your husband's job, yeah. Yeah. I remember after the earthquake, you were real helpful. And I needed a washing machine.
Oh, yeah.
And so your husband and some other person, they came to they brought the washing machine and got it in the house some kind of way. And I'm gonna hold that thought for a minute because they got it through here. When we built the glass porch here, the size of the door is different. My washing machine is broken, but we can't get it out of here because the door is now a different dimension.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So it's trapped.
It's trapped, yeah, it's trapped. Okay, well anyway, so at the time they had went through all this trouble to bring it, and the hoses were different.
Mm-hmm.
So they was talking about going to Ace and replacing the hoses. So I said to your husband, that's okay, let me talk to it. Now the hoses were exactly the same size.
The diameter?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. The diameter, so that's why it wouldn't fit. So I talked to it, and you know, we can't change the molecular structure of things. And so I said to him, tell me when, say when.
Uh-huh.
And so
I remember that.
do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah. And so I changed the one hose and stuck the other one in it. And when your husband said, now, I said, okay, and you could hear boom. And one fit into the other one. But your husband didn't have a problem with it. But the person that was with him,
his friend, yeah.
he just totally freaked out. Yeah, yeah. So that's one of the funny memories I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, we changed the hose. Yeah.
A lot of good memories.
Hmm?
A lot of good memories.
A lot of good ones. So, well, you've been here long enough to be Olympian.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I feel like an Olympian.
Uh-huh. Give me a subject you want to talk about. We're kind of doing this here, spontaneous. Because I don't want to take you anywhere you don't want to go. Ghost? Go ahead.
Well, so one of the things, I don't know where you want me to go. You're going to edit this, I'm sure. But
No, I don't. Nothing's edited. Uh-huh.
So I have a belief that, you know, people feel that a ghost is actually a dead person.
Mm-hmm.
It's a spirit, and I don't necessarily believe that. I believe that a ghost is some strong impression of any point in time that a person felt, that leaves some sort of imprint
Mm-hmm.
on the reality of that area or that existence, if that makes sense. And so I have seen, you know, a number of ghosts,
Mm-hmm.
and certainly feel I've left some ghostly impressions in areas that
Mm-hmm.
I lived in, depending upon what I was, you know, going through in life at the
Mm-hmm.
time. And so I'm curious of what your thoughts are.
Well, mine is usually a little different. When a ghost or an impression comes, they look like people. They just pop in,
Mm-hmm.
and then, like for instance, Tom Graven, he was kind of Shipshan's nephew. That he had just died in the 30-mile fire, but we didn't know he had died.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was just standing there talking to me, telling me things, you know. And I think the reason he popped in like that is because she had just left there. So he was looking for his aunt and got me instead, you know. So there was that. And then a couple of years later he came back, I was washing dishes, and he just popped back in. Mm-hmm. and was telling me there was a family dispute evidently about this movie they was going to make about that story. And so when they do that, they just I just relayed a message.
Mm-hmm.
And they look just like real people, like I could, almost like they're tangible. And then I did a hunting not too long ago, and